Hi everyone, thanks for watching. Welcome to my channel. I'm Kara. I'm a certified behavioral therapist and autism specialist teacher. I've worked with parents whose kids have been diagnosed or in the process of being diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, and I wanted to make a channel to share some of the information and knowledge I have on ASD for parents who have questions or concerns. And hopefully this video is helpful for you. Please bear with me as I make videos for the very first time. I've never done this before, and I'm sure it will definitely be a steep learning curve. So this video is about very early signs of autism. If you suspect autism, if you're a teacher, if you're a parent, if you know a child who is exhibiting early symptoms of ASD. If you're suspecting autism or a global delay, you should know the developmental milestones of children, babies. So I'll run through those really quickly. Hopefully, this gives you a quick overview of where your child is at, where your child should be at. So babies will develop according to the same trajectory the majority of the time. Obviously, there are outliers. Some children grow faster, some children learn a little bit slower, but typically developing children do hit these milestones at around the same time across the board. At around 5 months, your baby's going to start babbling. That just means making sounds, vocalizations, word approximations. Around 4 to 7 months, so around the same time as babbling, you should notice that your baby responds to peekaboo. Just the element of surprise. Your baby's learning that, oh, mom might make another face, caregiver might make another expression when, the hands come away from the face. It's a great tool to teach different expressions. Around 6 to 9 months, there's going to be hopefully lots of eye contact if your child's developing typically. So looking at you when you're talking to the baby, tickling the baby, kissing the baby, cuddling the baby, your baby should be gazing into your eyes and really following your gaze wherever you're looking. And around 10 months, your baby should begin responding to their name. Everything just continues from there. So now kids with autism often regress or seem to stop developing at around 18 months to 2 years. So if your child has had words and then has lost words, that is a clear indication often of ASD, but potentially, autism is very complex. There's, if your child has had words and then you began using less words or stopped using words, it doesn't necessarily mean your child has autism. There could be several other things going on, but it is, regression in the development is a big warning sign for ASD. So the key thing to know if you're suspecting autism is definitely look up on Google just the developmental milestones. Watch this video. I'll have them listed at the bottom again for you there. So I would recommend the second step of, if you've got some concerns about your child's development, is just don't research too much on the internet about autism. Or obviously, that's the very first thing that you're going to be doing, especially if you're watching this video. Clearly, you've typed into YouTube, warning signs of autism, or what do I do if my child is not developing the way that they should be, or whatever else you might be searching. The thing is with researching about autism is there's a lot of myths and a lot of misinformation out there. I think that a lot of the parents that I see and that I talk to, they have so many concerns and they have so many worries. It's about nailing down what's really most important instead of getting overwhelmed with all of the things that you don't know or that you're worried about that could go wrong or that, aren't happening, or that the things that your child isn't doing. Researching on the internet can really fuel that anxiety fire, and you can end up knowing a lot more misinformation than knowing the most important info that you need to know at this point, this early on in your journey of ASD. So try not to research too much. Don't get into, what diets your child should be on. I'll talk about it in later videos, but the gluten and the casein-free diet, don't look into any of that at this point. The next thing you need to do if you do suspect autism, if your child's 2 years old and they've regressed, or your child's not engaging in eye contact, not responding to their name, take your child to a pediatrician. Things will become hopefully a lot more clear once your child's been assessed, whether they've been given a diagnosis of level 1, 2, or 3, which is what is in the DSM at this point, or if your child is not diagnosed and needs to be reassessed in a few months. I've worked with children who have had that experience as well. Whatever happens, I think the most important thing to remember is to remain as calm and as positive as possible. Obviously, once you've been given a diagnosis that your child has any sort of developmental delay, it's a huge hit. You start thinking of all of the things that are going to go wrong with your child. But the important thing to remember is that when your child's diagnosed with autism, it's really just a different way of learning. It's a different way of developing. It by no means necessarily means your child isn't going to do lots of wonderful things and isn't going to become an amazing person and isn't already an amazing person with a fantastic personality. Your child can learn a lot of skills in a lot of different ways. So your journey now begins on how are you going to learn those techniques and strategies to teach your child in that different way. And that's hopefully what I'm here to help you with.